Hello everyone, how's it going? This is Intrix and I'm back again with another Conqueror's Blade video. This time I'm going to be covering Kheshigs. Kheshigs are the Tier 5 Cavalry unit released in Season 2, and they're pretty damn good. So we're going to get into the ins and outs here very shortly. A little bit of rundown of Kheshigs is that Season 2 was quite different in the sense of how these seasonal units were released, and it was quite a grindy season. Even though it was extended because of COVID and all that, it was still a very grindy type of season. The unit challenges were just completely absurd. It was an uphill battle, and either you dump a good chunk of change and you do the unit challenges, you just pay to win, you get it, boom, you don't gotta do any grind at all, or you gotta go through this very obnoxious type of grind. And on top of that, once you earn the unit, you get it at level 1. All you get is the kits, so you can unlock the unit for free. There was no extra slots to your unit expansions. You get the unit at level 1. There was no special doctrines, so you also had to unlock these units and level them up if you wanted to. Kheshigs has changed along the way. They've done some veterancy tree changes in Season 3, and that's more so because the unit wasn't exactly doing what it was supposed to do, and they just kind of changed it. But that hasn't really made it a bad unit. It's still a good unit, and if played right and played well, it will do what you want it to do. It is a very unique type of cavalry unit because it has a game mechanic that no other cavalry in this game at this present time currently has, which is the ability to kind of have a boomerang effect. So you charge them out, and then they're going to turn around and they're going to come back to where you are. They also get added attack bonuses when they are returning on that charge. It is a passive charge, but essentially, long story short, is that they have 2 charges. One is passive, one is manually sent. So it really opens up the playstyles and how you want to use this unit. You don't necessarily have to send the first charge and make it hit anything. You could kind of just set up an invisible wall, if you will, and just kind of send them that way, and then they'll bounce off and go into the direction that you're at. The further away that you send them gives you a couple seconds leeway time before they start going around and coming back towards you. So you got a couple seconds to move around the map, move around the units, move around the people. And when you're doubling down for the most part on the damage, on the penetration, all that good stuff, you don't necessarily need to make that for that first charge initially. It is a playstyle that you can do. Again, it's a very unique type of unit. Also, trees. Well, a lot of people are going to say go with the bottom tree. A lot of people are going to go with the top tree. Me personally, I'm going to go with the top tree, and I'm going to say why. Because, well, it kind of does make them more of a glass cannon in a certain sense. Because they don't really have all that defensive capabilities like they get on the bottom tree. And that's typically how a lot of these units go. Now, the bottom tree is good because you do get this. So once they hit around level 14, 15, 16, regardless of tree, they're going to start hitting a shining moment. So this is big damage against cavalry. And this can be an anti-cav cavalry unit, which, you know, I mean, when it comes to cav on cav, this is really huge. But I feel that this top tree just overall is just, it's a glass cannon, but you also get extra charge damage, you get charge cooldowns, a lot of penetration. It's just a glass cannon. But if you use this unit right, and if you play it in a particular type of way, you can just shred anything. This bottom tree is really limited to a certain game style because how many times are you going to go up against cavalry? A lot of times in the siege battle, not going to happen. Field battles, yeah, for the most part, that's the only game mode that you're really going to go up against. Territory wars to a certain extent, and even then, you know, how many other units are you going to go up against? So if you strictly want to play an anti-cavalry type of cavalry unit, the bottom tree is where you want to go. But if you want a more balanced overall, I can just shoot this unit at something and it's going to kill them, it's going to do something, the top tree is really really the one that you want to go with. So long story short, again, is what you want to do, what you want this unit to do, what is your play style. Ultimately, this unit is a pretty damn good unit. But as of Season 4, I feel like it's a little bit oversighted from the devs. The devs did do a fair, modest amount of changes to a lot of cavalry units, reducing leadership costs and all that good stuff. Some of them got a little bit of changes, but overall, a lot of them just got a leadership reduction. Nothing tremendous, but it's still a leadership reduction. Kheshigs were just completely overlooked 100%. Now, the changes in Season 3 to their veterancy tree was that they did get rid of the bola, which, if you elited this unit, they were able to throw a bola at their enemy. Season 2, this mechanic just didn't really work. Didn't really work that well. There was a lot of complaints and all that. And then Season 3, the unit was just kind of revised, and they just made it more of just a strictly charged type of unit. Obviously, it had a mechanic that just didn't work that well, kind of glitchy. Not exactly sure. A lot of people just didn't really even have that unit, or were even close to having that unit back then. Time has gone by, so either they bought out the challenges, or they finally worked towards the challenges. But another thing too was that, unlike these previous seasons that we're going through now, Season 3, Season 4, where they're only releasing 4 units, they also give you the ability to just put progress towards the units once the units unlock, and they will unlock after a certain time frame. Back then, you had to unlock so many units of the tier. So for the first tier, there was 3 units. You had to unlock 2 of them to even get progress to the middle tier. In the middle tier, all you had to do was unlock 1 of them, and then that would open up the ability to unlock the Kheshigs. But then you were stuck with doing 8 challenges 9 times over. That was a lot to do, and that was also a lot of money that you had to dish out just to get the unit. Is it worth it? That's really up to you. I think this unit is a very unique type of cavalry unit. Again, it does what other cavalry can't do. It's not a force to be reckoned with. They are great at scrimmaging. They do a lot of damage. High DPS. You doctrine them out. High DPS. Very versatile type of unit. Just be careful in what you charge them into, because they're not the tankiest type of cavalry. But they are a good flank and gank, and just even if I make a mistake, oopsies, I miss my charge, at least I have a second shot at redemption. I don't gotta wait 60 seconds, 50 seconds for another charge to pop off. They're gonna come back to me in a couple seconds. All I gotta do is just move to somebody, and they're gonna make contact on the way back, and that is gonna be a big beefy dish of DPS coming their way. Is Kheshigs a bad cavalry? Far from. I just feel like that the oversight's not really a big deal, but the leadership probably would have helped certain people's builds, especially with the ability of being able to go beyond 700 leadership if you were able to get those leadership stats on your gear. Other than that, one thing I noticed is that sometimes they'll kind of swing something that's invisible, which almost looks like it's, you know, getting ready to do a bola attack when you're charging towards something. As far as I know, that isn't anything game changing or game breaking. It's just simply an animation that's just kind of there. It had a purpose before, and that purpose has been removed, and they haven't done anything to change that animation, so it's kind of weird. You're wondering, like, what are they actually doing? Other than that, I don't see anything wrong with the unit. It's a pretty good unit, and is it worth your time? I'd say it's probably worth the grind, if not the money, honestly. It's a very popular type of cavalry unit being used in Season 4, and there's a damn good reason why. Because this unit opens up a lot more possibilities, and when you're dealing with pike units, again, as I said, this whole boomerang effect type thing is that, you know, it'd be a different story if you're just shooting them and they're charging into something and they don't get a buff, but when they're returning, they do get that buff. A lot of people say it's overpowered, but you know what? It's still a cavalry unit that you gotta get used to playing, and you gotta play it right, and you're kind of stuck to playing it a certain style. This cavalry unit in itself cannot just be charged head on into anything. Maybe cavalry if you go with that bottom tree, but if they're going against cavalry on that top tree, just like any other type of unit, especially pikes, you cannot do head on. You got to be a flank and gank type of unit. Use the mechanic to your advantage. Use that extra charge to either get you set up for a good charge, or do a double down, boom boom, get hit, wipe the unit. Just make sure you're not wiping yourself in the process. Other than that, that is my summary of the Kheshigs. This is Intrix signing out. Have a wonderful day, everybody.